Hello, this is Archie, and today I'm gonna show you how to use level editor in Just Dodge. This tutorial is valid for version 1.3.22. If you use a higher version, especially a major version like 1.4 or 1.5, there's probably a better tutorial, but here we'll cover all the basics. You start editing from going to level editor button from the main screen, and here you don't see any levels. You can hold mouse wheel button to move it down if you have more levels that are currently displayed, and you can make a new level by pressing create new level, as we don't have any levels right now. So this is a level editor interface which consists of editing tools and some utility functions like zoom out and zoom in, which also scale UI elements, but this is handy for one specific reason. You can toggle the grid off and on, and let's start looking at editorial tools. The first one is the decoration tool. When you click it or press Q on keyboard, it opens the tiles library. You can navigate through this library by clicking the tile, or you can scroll your mouse wheel to go to the next or previous element. Let's draw some floor here. So I selected the floor pattern here, and I made a rectangle. And now if I want to try my level, I can press F on keyboard, or I can press this try level button over here. And when I press it, nothing happens, and there is an error saying you need to add a player to the level. To do so, you need to press this objects tool or W on your keyboard. It automatically selects the player object, but you can click it here once again, or just scroll and place the player whatever you want. Now if I press F, I can try my level. I can run in all directions. I can even fall from the edge of the level because I didn't make any walls. And talking about walls, if you go to decoration tool, you can choose the second tile here and start drawing here. Now if I run my level, I built the wall that I collide with, so if I want to limit player movement, I can surround this area with walls and player cannot escape it. So it's not obvious right now which of these tiles are floors and which are walls, but I will work on it later to demonstrate some kind of preview or break into categories. So if you look in the play in the higher version, it's probably already done. Another feature of the tile editor is that it's not always the same tile that you draw. For example, if I choose this floor tile that I used previously and draw a line, you can see that the tiles are actually not exactly the same tile all the time. It's slightly different, and you can see those 4 variations are the ones that are used. And it's made to make the texture not that repetitive and looking more natural, which is specifically the case when we're talking about the grass tile. So if I use this tile, it picks random tile out of this 5 every time. And if I choose the variation and I try to draw it, you can see it repeats itself every time, and it looks kind of like a grid, and it doesn't look very good. So I recommend using this tile to use castle floor, this tile to use a grass floor, and this tile to use a dirt floor. Otherwise it will not look as good. Of course, you can undo your change by pressing this button. Right now it's not a Control Z, so don't try to press it. And this is pretty much it about the decoration tool. The next tool we're gonna talk about is eraser tool. Let's use eraser. It's very similar to the decoration tool. It has 3 options: 1x1, 2x2, and 3x3 tiles. So if you want to clean the large portion of your area, you can use 3x3 brush, let's call it this way. And the element that player is currently placed on cannot be deleted. So if you want to delete the tile, first you need to remove player, and then you delete the tile. So that's about eraser. The next tool is auto tile tool. It is very similar to the decoration tool in terms of what it does. So it basically builds the structure around the player, but it does it in organized manner. So if I choose, let's say, this auto tile, and I drag the line and I go down and go left, as you can see, it automatically draws the floor and surrounding walls. So I don't need to go into decoration tool and automatically pick all the tiles for corner, for upper wall, for bottom wall, and stuff like that. And if I run level, I can collide with these walls, I can run through this corridor and stuff like that. So auto tiles have two types, ones that have walls and ones that only represent floor. So the one I used, they are kind of walls ones, obviously, because it builds floor and walls around the floor. It has two types of the same tile set always. One draws wall off the floor, and the other one does the opposite. It draws floor off the wall. So if you want to make a nice looking room, I recommend first starting with wall one, and then emptying space inside it with the second one. And you can even make kind of junction between the two. So now I made a level consisting of two rooms with some corridor in between, and you can press space to jump. The second type of auto tiles is the floor ones. So let's say they don't have any walls, they just represent a floor. So if I run the level here, let me use it again, like so. They don't make any walls, so you can run freely throughout the whole area. They just make it nice, connecting two different types of tiles together. For example, grass and dirt. It uses all variations of grass to make it look smooth. And another good feature of it is that when you use floor auto tile on top of wall auto tile, it does not replace the wall. It only replaces the floor. So it's nice to do things like grass connecting to castle from the outer side, but not from the inner side. Yeah, so it looks like so. And also, similar to the wall, it comes with two variations. One is the opposite of another one. So I can make some grass, then I can make a dirt inside of it, and then I can make some grass inside of that dirt. So you can use paths, some plants and stuff like that using these tools. The next tile set, it's just two types of dirt, very similar to the previous grass one. You can combine them again the same manner. They also just floor ones, so you can use them to replace the area underneath the castle, for example, without destroying the actual castle. And the final type of auto tile is dirt walls. So if I draw it, it's not shown here, but here it's actually the wall of dirt that you cannot jump on unless you change the jumping properties, which we will talk about later. And similarly, this auto tile will make a kind of area inside of the grass wall that I cannot reach right now, as I cannot jump as high. So this is it about auto tiles. The next tool is structures one. Currently it only has two structures. One has 4 variations, one has 2 variations. The first one is a castle gate, let's call it this way. So it allows you to make a nice connection between the wall, like or entrances to the castle. The next one is similar to that one, just doing it horizontally. And the final structure here is stairs. I can place it like this, so I can go up and I can go down. There are 4 variations in each one for each direction, like this. Okay, so that's it about building the structure of the level. Now let's talk about filling it with some entities. We already covered one, which is player, and if we click the objects tool again, we see all the objects that are currently available. The first one is obviously player itself. The next one is a start button, so I can place it here, and when I step on it, level starts. So if I don't step on this button, nothing happens. The bullets will not hit me. In fact, they will not even shoot, and I cannot complete the level. So if you want allow player to explore the level before starting the challenge, you can do so by placing a button somewhere outside of the player model. If you want level to start immediately as soon as player starts the level, you can place them on the same tile, and when you start the level starts automatically. You can see it by seeing the timer underneath the player. So I want to separate them for now. And the next object is the finish line. So that's the main and only objective of the level editor right now. And once you started the level, your goal is to reach this checker grid, and level is completed successfully. So that's 3 required elements of the level that you have to have in your level in order to make it beatable. Now let's talk about enemies. So the first one and the simplest one is spikes here. So if I place it here and I click on it, I see some parameters menu allowing me to change the height of the element, the damage of the element, and either it's fake or not. So let's talk about each one in details. So first one is the height. If I make it higher, as you can see, if I run away from it, you see spikes kind of quite high. And when I try to jump over it, of course, when I start level, it becomes a non-trivial task to do so. So if I make the height less and I start the level, if I run far away, you see it's not as high anymore, and I can easily jump over it without being hit. So use it for that purpose. Damage, I think it's obvious, 4 hits, and if I click the player, currently my max health is 4, so if I step on it, I immediately die and level is not completed. Another property is fake, so you might hide some paths which look dangerous, but they're not actually. So if I step on the level is started, and I go over the spikes, nothing happens, it doesn't hit me because this level, this spike is actually not real enemy. If I click the player, there are some extra features I can adjust. For example, the player speed, I can make it very slow, like so. I don't know when you use it. Want to make it so slow, maybe some levels when you just need to jump over bullets. You can make it quite fast, up to 12. So it's also a complication. I found out experimentally 5.6 is probably the most pleasing speed. The jump power is how much your player is able to jump, how high, and if I make it to the max, which is 30, and I jump, I can easily jump on walls, and I can make it to use a parkour levels, for example. I can disable jumping altogether by pressing this checkbox, and now if I press space, nothing happens. And max health, obviously, it goes up to 100. Now, the next object is periodic spike. It is quite similar to the previous one, but as you can see, it's by default, there are no spikes. It's kind of pulled in. So if I step on the start level button, you can see that it starts coming off and on, like pushed up and down. And it's safe when there are no spikes, and when spikes are out, they hit me. There are some extra configurations on top of what we've seen previously. So height, either it's fake and damage we saw before. The initial delay, it only affects the time since level started. So since the moment I stepped on the start level button, for how long the spikes will be still pulled, so be safe. For example, it's in frames, so 30 frames means half a second. I can make it higher to be 1 second exactly. So if I step for 1 second, the spikes do not appear, and after 1 second they start working as normal according to save duration and damage duration. If I set it to 0, as soon as I step, it shoots. The save duration is the interval for how long spikes are safe, and the damage duration is for how long spikes are actually shooting. So let's make the save duration to be like 80 frames and damage duration to be like 10 frames. And as you can see, it shoots and immediately pulls back. So you can adjust behavior towards your needs. That covers the element. By the way, you can move the element by dragging it using this move button. You can remove element by pressing this red X, and you can clone object including its configuration. So let's say you made some adjustments to the parameters and you want to repeat exactly the same spike behavior. You can just press this green clone button and it will allow you to repeat the same spike again, and then you can adjust behavior of each spike individually after. So you see they work a bit differently. The next object I'm gonna talk about is a turret which shoots bullets. So let's see how it works. I step, it grows and starts shooting daggers and the red ball. And daggers, they always run in direction that's specified but the ball always targets the player. And let's look at the configuration of this object. First is the bullet width and the bullet length. I'm gonna cover these two together because when they are changed, the bullet size and collision with player obviously is way bigger. Angle offset is how much direction of bullet changes on every shot. I can demonstrate that on example. So let's say I set it to 0, and actually let me turn off the auto aim bullet for now. I start the level and I'm staying here and daggers will never hit me. So I go close, daggers will always fly the same direction. Now if I make even slight offset of 1 degree and I start the level, over time you see daggers, each following dagger is slightly changing direction. So sooner or later the dagger will hit me, and as you can see now that they are hitting me. You can make it offset higher, so each next dagger will change direction more often or on higher degree. And you can use negative values as well, so they start changing direction in different direction. Bullets count, self-explanatory. Bullets damage, also self-explanatory. Right now it's just 1 hit. Now bullet speed. This affects the actual speed of each dagger. So the interval between shots is exactly the same, but the speed is now way higher. The cooldown is actually affects the interval between shots. So if you want to make something not beatable, you can decrease the bullet speed and you can decrease the cooldown to the absolute minimum. So and the bullets count maximum, so it will look something like this. There is also almost no gap between the bullets, and it makes a really difficult challenge. But yeah, still beatable, I guess. And the auto-aim bullet, obviously, this is the bullet that shots every second time, that directed toward the player. Always, if you don't want to use it, you can turn it off or on, depending on your needs. So adjusting these parameters, you can make behavior of the turret very different. So I can place the second one here, and I have double the trouble. Now, The next object is beam turret. So apart from what we've seen before, it has two extra configurational things. First is beam length, and the second one is a beam angle. So let's see how it works. Obviously, beam hits over time. You can see my HP bar decreases, and the parameter it has is initial delay. It's similar to automatic spike initial delay. Beam damage, beam width has 4 specific values. So let's set it to the lowest one. And as you can see, the beam width decreased. Beam duration, for how long beam will stay once it shoots. Again, it's frames, so here it's 2 seconds exactly. Beam cooldown, the interval between the shots, and the rotation speed. It also takes negative values. Let's see how it works. So as you can see, the beam not only shoots, but it also rotates. Yeah, that's pretty much it about the beam element. You can combine them to make patterns like so. But to make them, since they rotate from this corner, you might need to place them like this so they don't change direction. As you can see, they are rotating around the same point now. Now, the final damaging object is this, I call it rotator. It also has a scale option, and it only looks kind of fat, but in actual gameplay it stays the same thing no matter how much you scale it. You can adjust the rotation speed, again in both directions, the damage, and the count of blades up to 10. So I think it makes sense, right? And also, if you standing on something that higher than the current enemy position, they will not hit you. And also you can jump over, of course, if you allow jumping, and the enemies will not hit you. So you can use this mechanic for making your levels. So this is it about the level objects. The final piece that I'm gonna talk about here is level floors. So you can make 3-dimensional levels, not only consistent of one floor. In order to switch to the next floor, as you can see, we are on the floor number 10. There are up to 20 floors. You start in level editor at the very middle. You switch to the next floor by either pressing C on the keyboard or pressing this arrow button. And as you can see, the level kind of got covered with blue. It's actually just demonstration on what happens on the floor below. So when you build a structure using the same tools, you see what happens underneath your current level. So let's draw something here. And as you can see, when we start level, we see that there is a floor above. But when you run under it, it disappears. So you see what's happening here. You can use all the same tools on the floor above. If you want to make a transition between floors, you can use this stairs structure that I demonstrated before. So first I go to auto tile, I make some floor out of these walls, and now I can place stairs. But obviously I don't place stairs here. I want to go to the previous floor and place them here so player can go up. And since I don't see where to place those stairs, so in order to see that, I need to press this toggle above floor button, and it gives me an idea of where my upper floor is. I can turn it off. I can also just go press C and Z to switch between levels back and forth and kind of have an idea of where I need to place stairs. So I need to place it here. And now if I run the stairs, I can go up to the second floor and to third and to fourth, etc. So this is how you build multi-floor levels. And of course, you can place individual enemies on each floor, and when they shoot, they do not affect you. Only when you go up and only then you be in heat, so you can use this mechanic to, you know, hide from enemies. There are quite a lot of different mechanics you can use. So yeah, and if you at some point do not want to see what happens underneath your current floor, you can use this button, toggle below floor visibility, to turn it off, and you only see what happens on this floor number 11. Okay, let's say you built your level and you are happy with it and you want to save it. To do so, you need to do this save level button, and it will save it to your disk so you can edit it in future. If I press it, it says level preview is required. And in order to make a level preview, I need to press this generate preview button. I can zoom out to cover the most of my level, then press this generate preview button. And when I press the save level again, let's zoom in so it looks nice. I get this form which has the preview of my level. I can enter the title, my cool level, and some description. Alright, now it says the level is saved successfully. This form can now be closed. I can close this form, and if I want to quit the editor, I press this exit button. So back to my locals level library, I have my level created. So if I go back to the main menu and press the level editor again, I press on my level and I have three options here. I can play it straight away, I can edit it, or I can upload level to the server. So if I edit, I go back to the same editorial interface. If I play it straight away without going to the editor. And if I try to upload level, this what happens. It says you need to complete new version of the level before submitting it. So every time you change the level, it changes the internal version, increases the internal version of the level. So you cannot upload levels that you cannot beat. You need to prove that the last saved version of the level is actually beatable. So that's protection from junk levels. So first I need to run the level myself from the previous save state and just reach the finish. Easy. And now I can press upload level, and the upload level is active. It's very important to know that once you uploaded the level, you cannot change it. So it becomes final, and you can only play it, and others can play it as well. So if I want to do so, I press upload, and it says level is uploaded. Level is uploaded. This form can be closed. Now we can look into the server levels. If I press here, there are 4 levels. 3 are pre-created and 1 my new one. Since I already have it on my local machine, I don't have any options other than play. But if I press any other levels that I don't yet have on my machine, there is a download button appear. So if I click it, it takes some time, and now I can play this level. So this level I built previously, and it uses multi-floor feature, it uses automatic spike feature, rotators, all types of feature. And now if I download this level, I can play it. It looks very difficult to beat, but it's actually not as difficult. All you need to do is jump on top of towers, because they are actually colliders as well, and that's how you can build this level. And the final level, its preview, it's actually not very accurate. It's a beam level. It requires you some proper timing skills to beat this level. Alright, you can try this levels yourself. So I think this is it about the level editor. So subscribe to my Discord channel to stay up to date with all the changes, and I see you soon. Bye.